What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Errol the Truth Spence. Errol the Truth Spence slams Americans who support Tyson Fury. He says, I don't like that a lot, okay? Of course, we know Errol Spence is not a fan of supporting fighters from other nations, particularly when the opponent is someone from the fans' own country. In particular, he is not happy with how a large chunk of the U.S. population is supporting Tyson Fury over Deontay Wilder. Now, of course, we know Tyson Fury, his last 4 fights has been here in America, okay? He signed with Top Rank, and his last fight, he beat Deontay Wilder pretty much every round until it was stopped. And according to Errol Spence says that he will always support his countryman, Deontay Wilder. Spence talked to Brian Custer on the Last Stand podcast, and he was very clear about who he will support in the trilogy between Wilder and Fury. The welterweight champ has not forgotten how he was mean-mugged during his fight with Kell Brook, okay? And Kell Brook is from the UK, all right? Back in 2017, the Bronze Bomber, he will support the Bronze Bomber despite how much heavily favored Fury is. And Errol Spence said this. He says, I'm always going to root for my countrymen, just like they always root for their guy in the UK, said Errol Spence Jr. He's, which is Deontay Wilder, the hometown guy. He's the American kid. That's what I don't like either. I don't like how the American guys are rooting for Tyson Fury, and he's from the UK when all the UK guys are going for their guy, okay? Fury has developed a fan following in the U.S. because of his interesting personality compared to Wilder. Fury has always been more easily marketable. Apart from this, Fury's performance in the 2 fights against Wilder has also tilted the scale of popularity towards him. Regardless, Spence Jr. will never agree with how Americans are supporting Fury. Okay. Now, I've heard Errol Spence say this before, particularly about Anthony Joshua. Now he's saying it about Tyson Fury, so at least he's consistent, okay? Now, I don't think, me personally, it really matters who you root for, but one thing is apparent, and he's right. Fury has a UK fan base, and they come over to support their fighter. They do. They come over to support their fighter. They come over in droves. You know, they party. They talk shit. They are very, very crunk, right? And they support their fighter. Now, as far as Americans supporting Tyson Fury, I think that's a matter of how people look at, how people view Fury over here. You know, Errol Spence forgets this is the second fight, but the first fight, people were booing Deontay Wilder anyway, okay? They were booing him anyway, and a lot of those guys were Tyson Fury fans. But one thing that wasn't really there, and I think Errol Spence is missing on, is the support that Deontay Wilder had. He really didn't have support. The people that you heard booing were fans of Tyson Fury because that's the only fans that showed up, okay? Now, you remember, this is 2 years ago when Deontay Wilder wasn't all that known, okay? Wilder was never a well-known heavyweight. So it's different from what Errol Spence experienced in the UK because Errol Spence was in the UK, okay? So he's supposed to get that scrutiny. But over here in America, Deontay Wilder got that nonetheless. But he got that because he was a little-known heavyweight. No one really knew who he was, especially, you know, being the WBC champion, because he never really went anywhere to be actually known, okay? For him, his name to be amplified and him to get that exposure that he needed, he didn't fight those premier fights that people knew who the hell he was. Crowds, small crowds. Barclays Center was a big place for Deontay Wilder, okay? Unless you went and seen New York fights, you would know who Deontay Wilder is. The first time he fought in Vegas, I believe, was when he fought Tyson Fury. Well, not Tyson Fury. When he fought in the Midwest, he fought the first Tyson Fury fight. So they really didn't know Deontay Wilder like that. You know, and I think that's one of the reasons why Wilder can't stand Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn was saying that same claim, that nobody knows who he is. You know, Errol Spence knows who Deontay Wilder is because they're both boxers. But of course, that's different. You know, you're supposed to know who's fighting because you're a fighter. That's in your sport, you know. But I just find it weird that Spence would not care for Americans that support Fury, because I know he wants more people to support the countryman, which is nothing wrong with that. Now, if he would have said something else, like, oh, well, I don't think people should support Tyson Fury because he's white. Now, that's a totally different story, ain't it? There's nothing wrong, because a lot of people, unfortunately, okay, a lot of people support fighters for different reasons. And unfortunately, some of the reasons for people supporting Fury, gotta be real, is because Fury's white. Okay? So a lot of times they support him for that. They might tell you it's something else, but a lot of times it's for that reason. However, that white guy does have personality. That white guy does sell tickets sometimes. I mean, Otto Vilene and Tom Schwartz, they really didn't do too good. But, you know, he is a showman, okay? So Muhammad Ali and Tyson Fury, both of those guys have a lot in common. They're boxers. They know how to sell. They run their mouth. They predict knockouts, right? And they have a huge personality. The only difference is one's black, the other one's white, right? One's living and one's dead, but but anyway, those are the similarities, okay, of that. And Errol Spence, I think he wants to support his countryman, but you have to remember, Errol Spence will be the first one to tell you that he'll be the first one to tell you that he'll support, or he loves bringing up his Jamaican heritage. Well, what if someone from Jamaica, right? Someone from Jamaica starts rooting for him, and a lot of Jamaicans come to his fights. You know what I mean? And he has a huge Jamaican crowd. Would he then say, well, will he just turn them off because they are from somewhere else? I feel if the shoe was on the other foot and these guys actually had fans in other countries and they actually branched over and, you know, across the pond, I think they will have a different perspective. Because one thing these guys have to understand, that these titles that they possess, okay, Errol Spence has the WBC and the IBF, okay, all those, World Boxing Council, International Boxing Federation. What does international mean? Global, mundial, right? What does world mean? World, right? Mundo, right? It means the whole world. So I think these guys are actually looking at certain situations, and it's very petty. And it's petty because of this. You guys are world champions. So it's your job to get exposure everywhere, not just America, not just the UK, not just Jamaica, but everywhere overall. Then you wouldn't have that problem at all. You know, and I think what has happened, people, and with Errol Spence has been one of those guys that has fallen into the system or the progression of trying to be like Mayweather. That, hey, I don't have to go nowhere else. He had to go to the UK to get that title. Well, why don't he go back to the UK and fight in the UK? And the more you fight in the UK, the more people will like you in the UK. Why do you think Muhammad Ali, guys like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, why do you think they're widely known? Because they fought everywhere. Where was Mike Tyson at when he took his first L? Tokyo. Okay? He was in Tokyo. He wasn't only in fucking Las Vegas. Because a lot of people think, like Floyd Mayweather, hey, Floyd, all he did is fought in Vegas. Well, that's Floyd. Everyone can't be like Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Everyone can't be that guy. And if you're a world champion, you fight all over the world. So stop fighting about what you think American fans should do, because you're American when you're a world champion. Okay? That's the problem. So with him saying, I don't think people should support Tyson Fury, well, you know, I don't see why you would have a problem with someone supporting him. You know, it seems to me that you need to worry about Deontay Wilder and promote Deontay Wilder more, so we'll have a bigger fan base in other countries. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. I feel that should be paramount. Okay? Promoting yourself. Because obviously, Deontay Wilder's team ain't done that good of a job at promoting their fighter, because people to this day don't really know who he is. I mean, they know who he is now, unfortunately, because he got beat. You know what I mean? And he had some viral knockouts, which were great knockouts. But at the end of the day, who do we know him to be? Okay, whereas Tyson Fury can come over here and talk and promote and write a book and all this shit. He's doing these things. Going on tour. Okay? So he's doing these things to get known more and more in other places. You know, so I think it's important for these guys to stretch out instead of isolate and then accuse other people for stretching out. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on that. You guys tell me what you think about Errol Spence's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.